Noah and Vias coming in at you with our thoughts after the Ohio State and Tulsa game. So I'll start first. I don't remember the last time I watched a game this ugly. I think probably just a game that just gave me a feeling of just like this team is bad. This Buckeye team is bad. I think the last time I kind of got this feeling about a Buckeye team was probably 2012, the Luke Fickell year. Um, like it was really that bad in my estimations. I know they made a lot of changes, especially on defense, and so to some degree, it's understandable to have some growing pains. But um, yeah, I'll turn it over to you. Or what do you think?
Um, I think there's good and bad. Um, I think, and I wouldn't say bad. I think we are probably, and the whole system, the whole country overestimated this team. And that kind of segues into one of the things I wanted to talk about, and that is Ryan Day. So Ryan Day as a coach, I mean, what do you think? I mean, here's a guy who came in. He took Urban's took them to the national championship. The second year, took them to the playoffs. The first year, and they were really good that first year. Um, but now he's got his own recruits. He also that year had Justin Fields, and Justin Fields was it. He had no other alternative. He could play games. We haven't told, we haven't named the starter and all that garbage, but everybody knew it was going to be Justin Fields. And he scored big time because Justin was good, very talented, picked up the offensive scheme, had some college games under his belt. This is different. He's got to train these guys, and he's got less talented people than perhaps Justin Fields. So, I mean, the other question is coaching hiring um, Kerry Combs. We'll get to defense in a bit, but Kerry Combs is an unproven defensive coordinator. There were perhaps other options out there. And then he absolutely insists on a single high safety look, which I think exposes them. And without a defensive rush like they had in the past year with Chase Young, Joey Bo says he gets exposed. What do you think of Jason Ryan Day as a coach at this point in his tenure?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's interesting that in 1 week we went from, oh, that was really bad loss against Oregon. They've got a lot to fix, but hopefully they can, right the ship, make it to the college football playoff again. To now, can they even win the Big Ten? Is Ryan Day even a good coach? So that's kind of the what we're in. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think this is kind of the year. We'll find out. After 2 years, he's got his own guys in here now, and there's plenty of examples out there of coaches who do really well their first or second
You're,
year,
yeah, you're breaking up, dude.
riding the highs. But then I hope that's not Ryan Day. But I think we are seeing this is kind of the first moment we're seeing um, we're kind of missing Urban a little bit, and uh, we're kind of realizing. Yeah, maybe Ryan Day just isn't as good as Urban Meyer, like we all thought. Because the one thing about Urban Meyer, you can say uh, whatever you want to about, but when he lost, the next game his teams would come out and crush people. Although I will say he wouldn't make the big philosophical changes that Ryan Day is making right now, especially with the defense. So that is something to consider. But I think, yeah, maybe Ryan Day just isn't as good as Urban Meyer.
I don't know if that's true, but time will tell. Ryan Day's a great offensive-minded coach, no question about it. Urban Meyer brought psychology and um, enthusiasm. He's a motivator, master motivator.
Yeah.
Ryan has to make some choices now. I mean, this is how a coach adjusts and see what he does. So, not just with the defense, but with his quarterbacks. Um, you look at the Oregon game, and they split running between Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson. This last game, it was Mayan Williams didn't even hit the field. It was Travion
Yeah.
Henderson and
It,
Matt.
it, yeah. I
So
found that very odd. They were saying that Amine Williams was not feeling well and missed a practice
I
during the
heard,
week. Yeah.
I heard that, but whatever excuse he wants to give, I'd be interested to see what he does with the quarterbacks this week, because we know what's his name, C.J. Stroud hurt his shoulder, and he complained even in the press conference afterwards, that his shoulder was bothering him. So, you know, people get injured quarterbacks all the time. Why not rest them? See what the other guys will do, and let them play, because they sure as hell better be able to beat Akron with me as their quarterback, much less any of the other two
Right.
guys.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for CJ because he's coming into this major spotlight, and his first impression to Buckeye Nation is, yeah, he's injured, and I know, he's under a lot of pressure, and you can tell he's feeling it, especially with the mistakes he made early on in that game.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, philosophically, they said in Oregon game, they were afraid to run. They didn't think they could. This time they almost leaned on the run more, and really struggled in the passing game. And was most surprising is Chris Olave had no receptions.
Yeah, I think that was really major. I think Chris Olave is a fundamental part of the success of this program. I mean, you look at last year in the Big Ten championship when Olave wasn't there. That was a major struggle against Northwestern. And then, the next game, of course, when the offense took off and Olave and Fields took off, they beat Clemson in the playoff game. And then, yeah, I think just Olave not having any catches, I think that's a big hurdle for the offense. I think that's Olave really gets them going. So I think that was bigger than most people realize.
So, what do you think about the defense? I mean, everybody's talking about Kerry Combs and the shuffling of who's calling the plays, but I don't want to reiterate that. Other podcasts, other announcers have been beating that to hell. But what do you think about the defense in terms of its schemes, or the idea that they're rotating so many freaking players in there?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the announcers were saying that the defense usually plays man, but they were pretty much playing zone the whole game. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems like, the OSU defense, they were preparing all they were preparing, all week for a physics exam. And then the day before their test, their teacher said, "Oh no, you're taking a biology exam tomorrow." So I mean, I don't care how easy that test is, unless it's common knowledge. You're going to struggle on that test to some degree. Just with just a lot of changes at the last minute. So I personally had more problems with the offense. I think there's no reason the offense should have struggled the way they did against Tulsa. Um, I can accept the defensive issues more because they were changing a lot.
Yeah, I think the defensive scheme, I saw a lot of too high safety, or they showed too high safety, and one of the safeties would come down in the box, or they'd have someone in the box and then drop back to two high safeties. I think being able to mix it up and confuse the quarterback is the key, especially when right now you have no standout players and you got a bunch of young people. These are 18 and 16, 19-year-old kids, at the defensive cornerback. You got two freshmen, redshirt freshmen or true freshmen. Seven Banks started there. He's dressed all 3 games and didn't play until as a backup to the last game. So a lot of people have said, "Oh, Seven Banks is his year. You were pretty solid at the corner with Seven Banks and so and so." Seven Banks is not playing as much. So is he not looking as good as these younger guys? These younger guys showing some potential that they want to get them in the game and get them reps. The corners, Burke and the other guy, look good. I think they've got strength. We are pretty solid usually against the run. The scheme against Oregon killed us. So I like some of the changes that I saw and that they're implementing and trying to mix it up a little bit. The offense, I think, is predicated on the quarterback. And I don't know why they don't utilize a little bit more run options for him. I saw so many times, especially in the Oregon game, where he'd roll out and there was 10, 20 yards if he just took off. But he kept rolling out, letting the defense set up and then threw it. I don't know if it's not certainty or what, but I am a little concerned about the offense. I do believe that Harry Miller being out is really big because that center has a real key role in calling out blocking schemes. At least historically, they did back in the day.
But I think the O-line didn't play bad. The running game was really good.
Yeah, I think they did. And I think were they really good, or did Travion Henderson play more? And when he got to the second level, he just took off.
Right.
First long touchdown run, I remember texting the boys, Jamie, John, Ralph, the Fearless Foursome, about why isn't he getting to the second level? How come he can't get to the second level? The very next play, he gets to the second level and takes it all the way. And John texts me, says, "There you go." So that kid's going to be something special. He needs to get some reps.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the potential to be the best ever. I mean, he's not going to win 2 Heisman trophies like Archie Griffin did, but he has the potential to be a really special. And yeah, let's talk about him a little bit. I think this could be the moment where we get a running back that distances himself as the number 1 running back. I mean, that I know in this system they don't have just one running back and that's it. Mayan Williams, Master Teague are also going to get carries, but I think from here on out it's Travion Henderson time.
I agree.
Yeah, I was I mean, anyone watching football can tell that, yeah, that guy, he's something special. Yeah, when he gets to the second level, that was pretty impressive. What he was able to do and make guys miss. And
I agree. I agree.
so, was there any other bright spots for you? Any positives from the game? Well, we talked about the quarterbacks as well, and Cam Martinez
He had a decent game.
balled out for sure.
Yeah, he had a
Is it
decent game. I think
some particular?
overall, uh,
Well,
I thought the DBs did okay. I think Bryson Shaw, is that the guy's name? The free safety back there can't be there by himself. He just doesn't have the experience. With Proctor out, they're gonna have to mix it up a little bit and get somebody else back there. But we talk about the defense. It brings up the idea. Well, you asked me what I thought what I thought the bright spots were. I also think the play calling on the defensive side was better, a little bit better.
yeah, it was
Some of the
lit.
blitzes were a little bit better. Some of the disguising the packages were a little bit better. Still think they missed gaps and missed where they're supposed to be, and that led to big chunks of yardage. But I still think they got a long way to go if they're going to compete in the Big Ten. And
Yeah,
so they got Akron, they can practice, and they got Rutgers. I'm not giving them Rutgers the way they're playing right now.
yeah, for
Then
sure.
they take a break and play Maryland, I think. So I wouldn't give them Maryland, although the benefit of that is they're playing at home, I suppose. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And the first time in the shoe, there's only like 79,000. There wasn't 100,000 like there usually is.
Oh, okay. Is that because of COVID, do you think, or what?
I don't know. The first game, the Oregon game, they were struggling to get people in on time. They had some snafus with the the readers for the tickets. I don't know if
Okay.
the game was people just weren't as interested.
Yeah. Yeah, probably after a loss, I could see people being less interested, but um,
And I think, um, in an indirect way, DJ Stroud having his struggles, he's had 3 games now to prove himself. I don't see a lot of improvement. In fact, I would say he's gone backwards. He takes a half to get going, right? First half, he
yeah,
doesn't have it that good. So I don't think it's inappropriate to try somebody else, or at least get the second string guy some reps in this, a set in the rotation. The first quarter, say, okay, and the second series is going to be the backup guy. The third series is going to be the backup guy.
right, right,
Maybe Ryan's worried that if the backup guy looks good, what the hell is he going
right, right. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if yeah they started someone else or for Akron, but yeah, I I wouldn't bet on it.
do? I mean, he's still what, 19? He's getting in front of the media. The media is just beating on him. I guess he said, "Yeah, my shoulder was sore." He wasn't making the sideline throws. He missed a bunch of those. Um, and then he says, "Oh no, I'm very confident in my skills. I'm good. I can do this. I'm really good." And that, I don't know. Do you think that there's some issues with big heads that they're trying to bring it all together, and they're not playing cohesively and for each other, and you know thinking about themselves?
Um, You mean in the quarterback room or just in general
in
or where specific?
in general?
Um, I think that the kind of guy they recruit is is a guy is people who are I mean Travion and Henderson and Evan Pryor came here as 2-star running backs because I think they wanted to play together, and I think they kind of wanted to, share load and probably like improve off of each other. Um, and I mean, yeah, I just think the kind of player that Ohio State recruits doesn't have as big an ego as other players, but and I think in the quarterback room, to me, C.J. Stroud seems like a pretty good, like pretty humble dude. I mean, I've only seen him in press conferences, but that's the vibe I get from him. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure these are really good football players. I'm sure, yeah. So there's times got to be massaging of egos for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with stacking, 5 stars, 4 stars at certain positions.
That Ebeke Ibuka returned some kickoffs where he had a 1 or 2 runs where he got some yards. So I'll be excited
Yeah,
to see him out there more.
yeah. He looks good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if you were to predict today, how many losses do you think they're going to have? Who are they going to lose to?
Yeah, it's tough. I would say, yeah, I'd say they win out. I think they'll get it together, and win out. I mean, they are more talented than everyone else in the Big Ten. But I mean, I'm not confident in that. I think there's a good chance they could lose another game. I think the most likely game for them to lose would be the Michigan game um, on the road at the end of the season. And Harbaugh is desperate for a win in that game, and Michigan doesn't look bad this year. Um,
Yeah.
but what do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think if I would guess losses this year, I would say there's a possibility they'll lose to Indiana.
I don't know about
Penn
that, but
State, although Indiana hasn't looked good, but somehow we make people look good. Michigan State could be challenging, although Michigan State's primarily just running the ball, and we could probably figure that out. I'm not sure they'll lose to Michigan. I think Michigan's a possibility, although they did a bunch of running again. So I don't know if you put the onus on that quarterback to pass the ball if um, they'll be any good. But right now we don't have the defensive backs to be able to do that yet. So I don't know. I think that they could lose 2 more games. I wouldn't be surprised. But
wow. Okay.
Ohio State historically has loved being the underdog. And right now, it's not. It can get more underdoggy than it is now, but they're the underdog right now. And there was a thing I saw. Forget it was 247 Sports or Sports Stub or something like that, where they ranked Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, and Michigan State above us.
Wow. Well, I mean, those teams are all undefeated, so yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, Yeah, I don't know. I think Penn State could beat them. I think Michigan could beat them. Um, I would be really surprised if anyone else beat them
Hmm.
in the Big Ten schedule.
Well, they go to Indiana,
Yeah,
Michigan
I
State, and Penn State.
um, Michigan State and Penn State, yeah, at home. Um, yeah, I don't know. After the way Indiana looked at in week one against Iowa, I mean, I know they have stars on offense, but I guess we'll see.
Well, then they lost to Cincinnati, so you have to wonder.
Yeah, it's true. They did just lose to Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what do you think about coaching hires? Ryan Day and his choices. He
Yeah.
just took the defensive team. Well, no, he took Larry Johnson, right?
Hmm.
Brought in Washington, who's good, linebackers guy, but he's young and up and coming.
Yeah.
Um, then he has that guy who does the defensive back, Barnes, and he ended up calling the game.
Yeah.
And then he has um,
Well,
huh?
there's Kerry Combs.
Yeah, you got Kerry Combs. So he's got five defensive guys. He got that Rhodes guy who's really just an analyst, right?
Right. Yeah. It seems to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. A weird dynamic there because doesn't the defensive coordinator usually call the plays? Isn't it weird for like uh you know uh coach under him to call the plays?
Yeah, I mean that's what people are saying.
Yeah, and then at the same time you've got Paul Rhodes who's the only one there with coordinator experience who's not even the coordinator. So
Right.
it's definitely a weird dynamic there, and they're working it out right now. But it almost seems to me like Kerry Combs is a great defensive backs coach, and I don't like I said before, I don't really fault Ryan Day for hiring him. I mean, by almost everyone's book, that was a great hire. When was it? 2 years ago.
Mhm.
But I mean, it was during one press conference. Kerry Combs he said, I'm not that great at organizing, so we'll see what happens or something like that.
Mm.
So I almost wonder if Kerry Combs he's this energy guy. He's this guy who can develop individual players very well, and um, yeah, he can develop players very well. But when it comes to you know he became defensive coordinator, Ryan Day said, "Okay, run the defense," and he's like, maybe he's way in over his head. Maybe he just can't organize a defense, can't organize a group that big. And he's just like a rah rah. Yeah, I don't want to say he's just a rah rah guy. He's a rah rah guy who's really good at developing relationships and developing players. But um, maybe this is just too much for him. What do you think?
Uh, I think it could be too much for him. He's not quite experienced enough, but I think he walked into a, a really depleted defensive back room. Um, and I almost wonder if Urban's, if you're coming on board, you got to give me at least 2 years thing has some merit, and we're seeing that here. Because Halfley came in and took what had already been um, recruited by Urban,
Yes.
and and had 1 year, and
Hmm.
therefore did not build the defensive back room. Kerry Combs came in and recruited a couple of guys. We lost two guys, Tony Grimes, and we lost that other guy. I thought we lost the guy to Indiana because his dad was coaching there or something like that. So we lost a couple of three defensive guys that were pretty key. Tony Grimes was a 5-star guy, and he was supposed to, he would have been a lot more helpful. So um, is that because, and then what we're seeing now is that whole room depleted and developing. You like to have a couple of senior guys in there, bringing the younger guys to learn the system under them. But right now, the younger guys are learning the system as they're doing it and changing it. So I don't know that. I don't know. I think he walked into a depleted system that needed help. And so I'm giving him the benefit of that a little bit.
Hmm.
Schematically, it doesn't look very great, but that's also on Ryan Day because it's his scheme. So I don't recall them last year really disguising anything. They just went full out speed and talent. And you're looking, I mean, I thought Borland was a slow white guy, but now he's looking like the cat's meow.
Yeah, tough one. Yeah.
And what Taraja Mitchell, is that the guy who's a linebacker? He
Yeah.
didn't play, was hurt. And then Zach Harrison was hurt. He didn't play. These are more
Yeah.
senior guys who have been there to offer
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. These guys are just in this system twice with him, and but they should be in the same single high safety system. But I agree with the announcers, and I agree with what's his name, Bob Stoops, that they're not disguising anything. It's the same look to a quarterback every single time, and this guy at Oregon just exploited it, and now they've been exposed because Tulsa did the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because we've always, when a group on the team is struggling, the fans always go to, play the younger guys these guys are more talented. They're right there. You should play them, and now that's what they're doing. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Because that's something the fans are getting what they want in a way.
Yeah,
But
well, interesting to see. I think that for me, the jury's still out a little bit on Kerry. So I'm gonna give him the
yeah,
benefit because, like you
okay,
said, that's a really good hire.
yeah, yeah. I think Buckeye fans right now just have to kind of put their focus on the Big Ten. I think it's a good idea to just focus on the Big Ten and um yeah, and focus on the Buckeyes winning the Big Ten and just appreciating every Big Ten win on the schedule, and then if the playoff comes after that, then that's even
So be
better.
it.
But we've got a long way to go.
We're rebuilding.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I think it sounds like listening to some of these podcasts and these reporters who do podcasts, sounds like they're going to really beat on Ryan Day and ask him to explain where Quinn Ewers is at. Is he playing? Is he practicing?
really.
Yeah.
And He's supposed
Dude,
to still be
Quinn
right.
Ewers is the #1 recruit in the country. #1. Never gotten #1. This guy is supposed to be everything in that in a bag of chips. I wonder if he'll redshirt it. I don't know. And, he came here because of NIL and the opportunities to take advantage of that. So, I guess he was on the sidelines for the home games, but he didn't travel with them to Minnesota.
Okay.
And I hear he missed like 2 weeks of fall camp.
Yeah, there's no way that's happening.
It's a very odd scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even Trevor Lawrence didn't start by himself until a few games into the season.
It's about the 4th game because it gave Kelly Bryant the option to leave without losing a year of eligibility.
Right.
Out of respect to him, they just basically said, listen, you're not going to be the guy, either moving forward or eventually. So decide what you want to do.
Right. But Kelly Bryant did not have the stars that the other guys in the quarterback room currently have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I definitely would love to see Quentin Ewers in there, but part of me, I mean, there's plenty of other talent in the quarterback room that has a significant amount of more experience, which I think is really important, especially in this system.
Sure.
Urban and Ryan have talked, on and on about how it takes time to learn this system, and I don't know if I want to see just Quentin Ewers come out there and just throw bubble screens. And
I don't think the push is to see him come out. The question is, what's happening with him? Is he learning the playbook? Is he getting any reps? Is he? Because this is the future, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that DeJuan Joe's a big boy.
Yeah.
I still think they're getting penalties when they in areas they shouldn't. That's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, what's up with the D line? I feel like in the first game there was all talk of like this is kind of return a little bit of the Ohio State D line. Zach Harrison had the big stripped sack force fumble against Minnesota, and then I don't know. I mean, there was that one freshman. What's the guy Williams who made that like really long sack against the quarterback, late in the game, kind of when they really needed it. That was great play. I think that guy's name was Williams, and I think he's a freshman, right? I think he was a true freshman, but the line seems to be struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. But again, they're rotating a lot of guys, and past week they were banged up with Zach Harrison out. But I see JT's getting in there, even Sawyer. I think Jack Sawyer had a roughing the quarterback call on him. Kind of pissed me off, but that's what happens when you got young guys in there.
Yeah. Oh, that was Tyleek Williams. Yeah, that was Williams. It was a great sack.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, time will tell, I guess. I'd like to see the development of their defense some more this week. mean, they're playing Akron, so I don't know what that means, but they ought to be able to get them blown out in the first half, so everybody else gets some playing time.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be their kind of feel good game. I think. Yeah, I think this one will be we'll say okay they finally look good this game, although it was Akron, but yeah, I think they'll get their feet under them